Hey, what are you doing?
Howdy. Trying to find a wireless trigger for my camera's speed light.
What are you wearing? No, for real though. After much contemplating, I've decided that Fnord is going to succumb to his curse.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go with it when I had it enter you, but I like the outcome so far. And the rolls I had you make, I decided would give you a fighting chance to resist. I can't give you a whole lot of details on what exactly the curse does, but essentially, Fnord is mine now, so it means make a new character.
Oh, well, that's super lame.
I have some ideas with the character I'm going to pursue, which I think would make for good storytelling.
I feel like my character effectively dying to a single failed save, without myself or the party having a chance to fight it, is a really lackluster way for me to lose him. What are you talking about, OP? Everyone loves losing their character through no fault of their own. Remember the original ending in Fallout 3? You know, the original ending where, for some reason, your mutant follower that was immune to radiation couldn't step inside the radiation tub, and so you had to walk in by yourself to get killed? Even though you also had a ghoul follower who was also completely immune to radiation, and you also had another follower that was a robot that was completely immune to radiation, and anyone could have typed in the stupid key code to turn on the water purifier, so you didn't even have to be there in the first place, and yet your character still dies because this is an idiot game made by idiot people, and I hate you, Todd Howard. I'm sorry for the outburst. I'll just buy Skyrim again. My name is Jacob Crowe, and welcome to the Crow's Perch. In today's story, a Pathfinder 2nd edition game goes horribly wrong when a murder-happy ranger attempts to slay death itself. So without further ado, let's gather up a murder and get right into this story. Okay. So this is a horror story, but I think it all befalls me, the game master, because of this situation. Yesterday, I had a Pathfinder 2nd edition session, which has been running for about 8 months. I will spare the specifics of the story, because that is not where the issue lies. The party comprises a half-orc barbarian, a goblin monk, a tengu sorcerer, a catfolk oracle sorcerer, and an elf ranger. The Elf Ranger is played by one of my best friends, who is well known for just trying to be random and cringe at the same time. His character, who is allegedly neutral good, has so far threatened to kill several NPCs, shot first and asked questions later, burned down half a forest, and just never keeps on paying attention as a player. Here is an example. The room before you has a bunch of bodies littered on the right side of the room. Blood from the bodies has dried up on the cobblestone. The other half of the room has a bunch of boxes, which appear to have tools stacked on top of them. Ranger: I want to inspect what's inside the boxes and what is on top of them. Me: you inspect the boxes and find there are various tools here, some of them covered in blood. Clearly the tools have been used to instill harm to living creatures. Monk: I want to inspect the corpses lying in the room's corner to see if I can identify a cause of death and maybe get a hint on how long it's been since they were murdered. Me: alright, cool. You succeeded in your medicine check. Even though you are not trained in medicine, I will say that you deem it to at least be a few days since these people were Ranger: I want to inspect the inside of the boxes. Me: you already did. This is an occurrence that happens way too often. Last session, the party walked inside a dungeon where they stumbled upon a friendly creature that appeared like a distorted version of each party member. For example, if you were the ranger and looked at it, it looked like the ranger. If the barbarian looked on it, it looked like the barbarian. It was friendly though, and was intent on helping the party with their being stuck in a dungeon situation. It was having a conversation, trying to explain what it was, in riddles, to one of the party members. When the Elf Ranger just says, let's kill it, the party ignores the ranger, like they always do. However, this time, I have had it. The constant interjection, even though the ranger has been told several times to stop interjecting and interrupting other people's role-playing, finally got to me. I had the NPC say, what do you mean, kill me? You come into my house, I show you hospitality, and you suddenly tell your people to kill me. Ranger, you freak me out, man. NPC, so you just go around and try to murder people or creatures that creep you out. I will have none of this. I will consume your very being and teach you a lesson in humility. I pulled up some high NPC stat block, and a fight was had. The NPC was only attacking the ranger. The other party members tried to strike at it, but they missed. The ranger ran into a portal that was on the right-hand side of the room. One problem, the creature controlled the portals. So the creature sent him to a room with a giant tentacle monster, and he had to fight that creature all by himself so far. All the party members except for one went inside the portal and faced off against the tentacle monster. The monk stayed behind and spoke to the creature, trying to get it to calm down. The creature said, "I harbor no ill will against you or the rest of your compatriots, except for that elf. He may not enter my room without me killing him. There is no way you could persuade me. There is also one more issue. The only way out of that room he is in right now is through my room." The monk pleaded for his ally's life, as the rest of the party fought the giant tentacle monster in another room. The creature finally subsided with a social check, persuasion. At first the goblin rolled a natural 1. Then he used a hero point, so the second roll rolled a 6. I had the creature ponder for a short while, and it said it would let the elf pass the room if it could have his soul. When he dies, he is not to be taken to the plane of his deity and live out the afterlife with his god. He is to spend all of eternity with the creature. If that does not suit him, the creature can kill him now, and he will spend all of eternity inside of his god's realm. The creature also pointed out to not try to swindle him, since he knows and sees all inside this place. This showed that the creature was more than it appeared to be. The monk said he would relay this information to the elf, and went through the portal. A long and arduous battle was had against the tentacle monster, but they came out victorious. When they entered the portal, the creature had changed its appearance. It turned out the creature itself was the Grim Reaper, who just likes to hang out in that room of the dungeon from time to time. I have read a lot of Discworld lately, so I wanted to implement death somehow into the campaign. I am the game master, so I can do almost anything I want, or at least that is how I deem it to be. The party was surprised, to say the very least. The elf tried to apologize several times, but Death was not having it. The elf tried to strike another bargain with Death, but all Death said was,
"You are in no position to bargain with me. I hold all the cards, and to be frank, I dislike you. I have seen how you have acted throughout life, and you have made my job rather hard. A lot of lives have ended prematurely because of your murder-happy personality. You come into my room, or what I deem to be my home at this current time, and tell your party members to kill me, when I have shown you nothing but hospitality. It is time for you to finally face the consequences of your actions."
The elf finally gave up, and Death brought out a contract for him to sign. The contract covered all loopholes, basically damning his soul to forever be denied its place in paradise upon the time his soul would leave his body. Sections included, borrowed from the Lost Omens legends.
No limitations, rights of first refusal, nothing set forth in this agreement, including without limitation, the receipt of death services under this agreement shall A. Limit Death's party's ability to make any similar arrangements set forth in this agreement to any other mortal or immortal parties, including but not limited to any adversaries to the mortal party, or B. Prevent the mortal party from entering any other agreement. whether similar to this agreement or otherwise, with any other agent or representative of any judicial bureaucracy and other death agreement, provided, however, that no such other death agreement may involve the sale, lease, forfeiture, or other use of the mortal party's immortal soul, without first providing the death party a right of first refusal to provide a similar contractual service upon reasonable and equitable terms. Or C. Create obligations binding in any way of the judicial bureaucracy of death, the ability to utilize any fiendish, necromantic, deathly entity or fully corrupted mortal soul for any purpose for durations determined entirely by the judicial bureaucracy of death in its sole discretion.
The contract was signed. The elf's soul, eternally damned to be with death for all eternity, once his time comes to a close. The party was righteously angry with the elf, and the player as well, because his stupid attitude just took up 3 hours of a session because he had to go out spouting dumb stuff, and I finally snapped. I think I overreacted a bit, but after 8 months of him doing stupid stuff like this, even though the party and I have had several talks with him about how his behavior always derails everything, I think it is only understandable I snapped. That'll be all. I never thought that a murder hobo would go so far as to challenge death itself. The GM had a great idea for a consequence for the Ranger's murder-happy ways. A choice between eternal life or a short life cursed with an eternity of damnation afterwards.
Don't you think that's weirdly fucked up?
That's it for today's story. And if you'd like to submit your own story for me to read, be sure to submit your story to the Story Submissions tab on the Crow's Perch Discord. And speaking of the Discord, this week's Art of the Week goes to Vasis, I'm probably saying it wrong, on our Discord. I'm getting like grunge pirate vibes from this one. And if you would like to submit your own art to be featured on Art of the Week, be sure to either email it to me in my About section or post it on the art section of our Discord. With all of that out of the way, I would like to make a special thank you to my patron Gotia and my new patron Anja, and a special thank you to Artificial DM for lending his voice to this video, and I'll see you guys next time as the crow flies.